Life is full of cycles where something is seeded and then it grows, it develops, it waxes until it reaches a full point and then it contracts again. It wanes, it comes back down to nothing. And then after the void of that nothingness, there is a chance to start again because a new cycle always begins. Astrology reflects the cycles of life so well, and this week we're coming to the end of the lunar cycle, the lunar month of Aries, with all those planets we've had in Aries and all that fighty, conflicting energy. And we're coming to the new moon in the sign of Taurus. It's going to help us to be grounded. It's going to help us to enjoy the pleasures and comforts and luxuries of life. And it could also bring some disruptive but helpful ideas with it. Hello everybody and welcome to this video. I'm going to talk about the transits of the week coming up. That's the week beginning Sunday the 10th of May or Monday the 11th of May. What are the astrological aspects and transits that are going on that will affect your life and the life of everyone around you, the energy in the air, the micro decisions that you're making, just a general vibe of the week. I'll go through the transits one by one and then we're going to look at the new moon in the sign of Taurus that takes place at the end of the week, this coming weekend. So, my name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar. I make calendars like this one for New Zealand or Aotearoa, or like this one for Australia. I am based in New Zealand, but these videos are for the whole world. All this astrology affects us the world over, and they will be affecting you wherever you are in the world. So greetings to you wherever you are. So first of all, we'll talk about the transits, then we'll look at the new moon in the sign of Taurus and talk about what that will mean for the energy in the air over the next month. And we'll look at the new moon chart and the aspects that are part of that new moon, and then we'll do a sign by sign breakdown so that you can see what part of life this lunar month will be affecting you in. You can jump ahead to any part of the video by looking at the timestamps. For any of you who follow me regularly, I'm sorry that my last two videos have come out a couple of days later than usual. I am a relieving teacher or a supply teacher, and now that we're getting into winter here in the Southern Hemisphere, lots more teachers are getting sick, so I'm getting work, which I need, so that's good, but it means I'm having to do the videos a little bit later in the weekend, so that's what I'm doing today. Well, speaking of Taurus energy, the new moon in Taurus is coming up, but we have had the sun in Taurus for a little while now, and before that we had Venus and Uranus as well. I feel like I've had a Taurus day today because it's Saturday. We went to the market early in the morning, got lots of veggies. I've been putting all of those away and making pumpkin pie from scratch, and my partner made bone broth with a slow cook, and I made kefir. So we're not doing growing in the garden, but that would be a Taurus thing. All this stuff where we're thinking about food supplies and we're being very grounded and practical and enjoying the pleasures and the taste of all that food, because man, it tastes better. So that is quite a Taurus day and it feels lovely. We've got the autumn sunshine coming in here in New Zealand, and it will be spring, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere. But Taurus is about enjoying the moment, enjoying what you can see, feel, taste, touch, and smell. Being practical and growing things for the future, planting in the garden, and looking after resources and your stocks of things, and looking after the earth. I would include that too in Taurus. Just before we go into this week's astrology, I'll mention last week when we had Pluto turn retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, and you can go back to my video from last week if you want to learn about how that's going to affect you over the next 5 months, because that is a long time that it will be retrograde in Aquarius, and actually Pluto is going to be there for the next 20 years or so, so you could also learn more about how that will be affecting you. Okay, this week, here is a page from the calendar. This is from the Australian calendar. You can see that there is a calendar grid that shows the moon phases starting from new moon and going right through the lunar month. And then on the left there are the transits and little descriptions of the aspects and transits that the planets are making. Okay, just taking the grid part of that calendar page, you can see there we are in the final week of that lunar month of Aries. The sun is already in Taurus, and we are moving into the new moon in the sign of Taurus. Ta-da! A brand new start, like I said, a chance to do things again and to, make some new intentions for and adjust your directions in life. Okay, so you can see there on the 17th of May or the 16th of May, if you're in many countries, the sun and the moon will come together and they'll be in line together. Not exactly, that would be an eclipse, and that represents a new beginning. You can't see the moon at that time. The moon is too, it's too overpowered by the brightness of the sun, but a few days later you will. So that new moon is a time to just withdraw and be a bit quiet. I'll talk more about that later. So here you can see just the grid part there. We're in the lunar month of Taurus. We're in the solar month of Taurus as well. The sun is still in Taurus until the 21st or the 20th when it moves into Gemini. And that's just to show where we're up to. And this week's transits, here they are. On Sunday, the 10th of May, or Monday, the 11th of May, the sun will be sextile to Jupiter. Nice. On Tuesday, the 12th, or Wednesday, the 13th, Mercury sextile to Jupiter. Nice. These are supportive aspects. On Thursday, the 14th, or Friday, the 15th, the sun will be conjunct Mercury. I'll talk about all of these in more detail shortly. And then on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th, depending on where you are in the world, we've got the new moon in the sign of Taurus. You can see there. We also have Mars conjunct Chiron and Mercury moving into Gemini. And these aspects will all be playing into the energy of this new moon. The sun sextile Jupiter. A sextile is a supportive aspect if we take some action to make good things happen. The sun is about our ego, our charisma, how we shine in the world, our creative instinct, and what we create that we want to share with the world, and we can take leadership with this. And Jupiter is about expansion, optimism, opportunities, and luck. It is the great benefic. It's a wonderful, expansive planet. Both of these are about confidence and taking bold moves. And with Jupiter, there can be wisdom there as well. So this is great. And I wrote in the calendar about this. Express yourself with joy and confidence. And then on Tuesday the 12th or Wednesday the 13th of May, we have Mercury sextile Jupiter. And that's because Mercury is coming up close behind the sun. Okay, so Mercury is about communication and thinking and how we connect with our neighborhoods, how we analyze things and organize things in our mind. It is very rational. It does a lot of work in our modern lives. It's also about technology and especially communication technology. And Jupiter, again, is expanding this and bringing opportunities and wisdom. This could be a great day for writing, for speaking, for thinking, for planning and discussing. So in the calendar, I wrote, enjoy discussions about travel, justice, and philosophy, even with Jupiter, and learning. Oh, and I wrote philosophy there as well. Okay. And then on Thursday, the 14th, or Friday, the 15th of May, the sun is conjunct Mercury. So this is when Mercury was retrograde back in March, and with the retrograde, so I'll start here. Mercury goes around the sun 3 times a year. And when it is in line with the sun, conjunct the sun, as we see it from Earth, that is Mercury cazimi. That is when Mercury is retrograde and it's closer to Earth, and it's racking everything up with its retrograde and making us overthink and over communicate and mistakes and all that. Right now, with this conjunction, Mercury is behind the sun. So it's very far away from us, as far as it gets from us in terms of actual geographical distance, actual physical distance, I should say. So we could be a little bit offline with this, but then on the other hand, we can get some insight and the ability to see the bigger picture. It's also, in some ways, a culmination point of whatever might have started at the last Mercury retrograde cycle in March. Okay, so and that was when Mercury was conjunct the Sun, but it was between the Earth and the Sun. So I wrote in the calendar a culmination point in developments since Mercury was last retrograde, and that lasts about 1 day, and we can't see Mercury at the moment because it is behind the Sun. And then we are going on to the day of the new moon, but before that new moon is exact, we have Mars conjunct Chiron. This is not so easy. Mars has really been so activated while it's been going through Aries, because Aries is its home sign, and we've seen the conflict that's going on in the world with, and it's partly contributed to by Mars going through Aries. It's hot-headed, it's ready for action, not wanting to wait and take things slowly and patiently and with consideration. Okay, and Chiron is the wounded healer centaur. It's not an asteroid, it's not a comet, it's another kind of body, a centaur, that represents our inner wounds, where we can feel a sense of abandonment or shame or have actual physical illness or injury. So Mars could be triggering these kind of wounds or illnesses that are going on. And there even could be some kind of residual pain or shame left over from all this other stuff that Mars has been doing there. Mars was conjunct Neptune, and that could have brought difficulty, and then conjunct Saturn, certainly difficulty. And this is all over the last 5 or 6 weeks since Mars went into Aries. And then also Mars was square Jupiter last week. There's been some troubles, and where you've been like more ready to fight or more ready to argue than you normally are, or more stressed and driven to act, maybe impulsively at times, that could have been that Mars and Aries energy. So this Mars in conjunct Chiron is contributing to the new moon energy in Taurus. And yeah, there could be some pain coming up or anger triggered by that pain. Okay, so we'll see how that is. Be patient with ourselves. Look to do healing practices to help. And then after the Mars-Chiron conjunction, we have the new moon in Taurus. So let's look at the times there. On Saturday, the 16th of May in LA, it's at 1 p.m. In New York, 4 p.m. In London, it's 9 p.m. in the evening. And on Sunday, the 17th of May in Australia, 6 a.m. And in New Zealand, Aotearoa, 8 a.m. And the new moon takes place at 26 degrees of Taurus, just a few minutes before 26 degrees. So I'll be going into depth about the new moon and looking at the chart, and then doing an all signs breakdown about how this new moon is affecting you later in the video, or quite soon actually. All right, and then the final transit I'm going to mention is Mercury moving into Gemini, moving into its home sign. Mercury, it loves the talk and the chat. It loves trade and exchange and connecting people through small talk and through social media communications. And all of this is also what Gemini is about. So Mercury in Gemini is going to be so happy, flitting around, connecting everybody, chat, 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 talking, writing, speaking. All of these will be enhanced with Mercury in Gemini. And social media, any kind of connections, hand skills, gadgets, technology, so much, trade and exchange. So what I said in the calendar with Mercury in Gemini, which it will be until early June, ideas, discussion, trade and networking flourish. And so that's the end of the transits, but let's look at the upcoming events. On the 30th or the 31st of May, so the end of the month, we have the full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. So as we've got the new moon at the moment coming up in the sign of Taurus, and then the moon's going to wax and grow bigger until we get the fullest point, that is the full moon in Sagittarius. On the 19th or 20th of June, Chiron, the wounded healer that I mentioned before, moves into the sign of Taurus. That is a big deal. I'll certainly be talking about that. And there's so much all at once there because on the same day, Uranus is square to the lunar nodes, and then the very next day we have the solstice, the July solstice, where the sun moves into Cancer, and that is the shortest day for us in the southern hemisphere and the longest day for anyone who's in the northern hemisphere, the height of winter or the depths of winter or the height of summer. Well, everybody, I'm back. I did not manage to finish recording my video on Saturday, and it's now Monday night, so I'm recording, so I'm really sorry this video is later than usual. So now I'm going to talk about the Taurus new moon and this brand new start that can come with the new moon energy. The new moon, where the sun and the moon come together in the sky, that will happen at 25 degrees and 57 minutes of Taurus, so basically 26 degrees of Taurus. This is what I said about it in the calendar. Set intentions for the coming lunar month for finances, resources, comforts, and pleasures. All of that is a Taurus energy. And the thinking creatively and expansively, that is especially because the moon is conjunct Uranus and Mercury, and it's also sextile to Jupiter. We'll see this in the chart soon. Okay. At the time of the new moon, you can't see it at all because it's in line with the sun, and the sun is so bright. But a few days later, you'll see the first crescent moon in the sky, actually a couple of days later. Okay, and that will be in the evening sky just after sunset. You'll be able to see it there. So when it's actually the time of the dark moon, when you can't see the moon, this is a time to withdraw and be quiet. You still need to carry on with normal life, of course, to do the activities and the plans that are part of life, to go to work, do whatever you do during the day. But if you're thinking of starting something new, or exploring a new idea, or venturing forth into something new, it's a good idea, if you are able to wait until just after that new moon, until you see that crescent in the sky, or if you can't see it because it's cloudy or you don't have a good view of it, to wait until just a couple of days and then to start on these new intentions. Of course, always your previous projects and your long-term goals and your long-term projects and endeavors, they're just carrying on. And so during that new moon, dark moon time, just keep them ticking over. Okay. We're going to talk about Taurus because this is the new moon in Taurus. Taurus is about Earth's gifts. It's about food and supplies and resources and goods. It's about the physical, material part of life. So what we can touch and hold with our hands, our human hands, the goods of the earth, the things that come from the earth, but any kind of goods, any kind of material stocks of things and supplies of things, and that includes money. So Taurus is also the sign that's most to do with money, all right? Taurus is also about beauty and having a wonderful aesthetic sense. And it's also about comfort and luxury, because that is very often what the material goods of life bring to us. The energy of Taurus is steady and practical. It loves to build things slowly, work at things in a methodical and measured way, a thoughtful way, taking time, being patient. Taurus is wonderful for patience. This is a great energy to be following up from the Aries energy that we've had so much of over the last lunar month. At the last new moon, when we had the new moon in Aries a month ago, there were 7 heavenly bodies in the sign of Aries. It was Chiron and 6 planets. In Aries, it was crazy how much energy we have had in Aries. So no wonder there has been this conflict, there's been stress, there has been new and exciting developments. But this Taurus energy coming along is going to help us to chill down, really, to get more grounded and to be more patient about things and steady. So that's going to be very nice. It's also a really good time to be connecting with your senses and noticing what's around you. What can you feel under your feet? If you're going out in bare feet, can you feel the grass or the earth under your feet? If you're enjoying a comforting or a luxurious moment, really feel the fabrics around you, the softness of the cushions or the softness of the ground that you're lying on, the sun on you, everything beautiful, like savor it. To savor something is a great word for Taurus, and also appreciation of comforts and luxuries, and to notice these where they occur around us. We can take them for granted if we have a luxury item or something that is soft and lovely against our skin, but we wear it every day. This is a chance to appreciate those gifts. The Taurus helps us to celebrate the wonders and the comforts and the sensations of this physical life on earth that we live. The ruler of the moon is Venus. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. She is the goddess of beauty, of luxuries and comforts, of wealth and abundance. And this is a lovely aspect of Taurus, is that Venus, beauty and abundance. Let's now look at the chart of the new moon. So here we can see on the bottom left of the chart, there was Aries, where we had the last new moon. And there's still 4 bodies in Aries. But now, in the sign of Taurus, and you can see the bull's horns on the symbol there, we have the sun and the moon and Mercury. And there you can see the sun and the moon together at 25 degrees and 57 minutes of Taurus. Okay, and then the moon's ruler is Venus. And Venus is in the next sign along, and that is Gemini. And because Venus is the ruler of the moon, she's in Gemini, that's going to be perhaps bringing more chat and connection with siblings or relations or neighbors, more traveling around the neighborhood, connecting, maybe some trade and exchange of some of these Taurus goods of the earth and produce. Okay, in New Zealand, Aotearoa, lots of people at this time of year are putting out feijoas and sometimes lemons and apples and things that they've grown in their garden and they've got too many of, and they put them out for people to take. That's really nice. And so that would be a way of connecting with your neighborhoods. Okay, and then we've got also, so Mercury is very close to the new moon, or at 28 degrees. So Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So these are in mutual reception, actually, Venus and Mercury. So that again is adding to this idea of chatting and connection and trade and exchange, perhaps messages or news coming in. Okay. And then the new moon is also conjunct, not too closely, but the moon will be coming up and going over it, Uranus. Uranus is at 1 degree of Gemini, very newly moved into Gemini, very newly moved out of Taurus. Uranus brings disruption and innovation and new ideas, progressive thinking, thinking of grand solutions for humanity. And perhaps some of the trade and exchange, and perhaps some of the thinking about supplies and goods and financial conversations and saving for the future and building up stocks and supplies. Uranus could bring some really good ideas with out of the box thinking that could help large groups of people. So, some innovation, but also disruption because Uranus isn't always easy, it shakes us up. So, that won't appeal to the Taurus wanting things to be steady and stable and secure. Uranus will shake that up. And then a nice aspect about this new moon is that it is in a sign-based sextile with Jupiter. It's actually close to a degree-based sextile, but not really. But the moon will be leaving the sun in the next few days. It will go past Mercury, it will conjunct with Uranus, and then it will be conjunct Venus, and then it will be conjunct Jupiter. And there is an energy of expansion and opportunity and luck with this, and that's going to be helping the growth and abundance of that Taurus energy. So that is very nice. However, there is a difficult aspect as well, and that is Mars incredibly exactly conjunct with Chiron, the wounded healer asteroid, or actually not a comet, not an asteroid, but a centaur body. So perhaps this is, as I mentioned before, bringing about some shame or some pain or illness or the painful results of some of the stuff that's been going on with Aries, like the conflict that could happen, but it could bring up something within you. And then you can look to, if it does, if it's bringing up illness, wounds, injury, abandonment fears, you can look to Venus for some help there because Venus is sextile that conjunction of Chiron and Mars, okay, and that could be adding some protective quality, some sweet connection, perhaps like ways of connecting people that help you, perhaps women because Venus represents women. Okay, so there's a little bit of relief there with that. But mostly this energy is about the new moon and that brand new start that it represents the beginning of the lunar month, and things will develop and grow over the next 2 weeks until the full moon, but also over the next 6 months until we have a full moon in the sign of Taurus. So let us count our blessings, the earthly abundance that we have all around us, and appreciate what we can feel and sense in each moment. Where you get a chance to do that, it would be lovely to channel that Taurus energy and appreciate and have gratitude for those wonderful aspects of life. There's so much about being a human that is hard, and we hear about that all the time, like, oh gosh, life on earth, it's so hard. Being a spiritual being on earth, having this earthly experience, it's so hard, but actually there's some amazing stuff about experiencing life in a body, experiencing, tasting the food that we eat, touching the things and feeling what we can touch, and all those wonderful sensations that we get through having bodies on earth. So now I'm going to do an all signs breakdown starting from the sign of Taurus. We're going to have a little look at that new moon in Taurus and what house it lies in your chart, what part of life that will be affecting, where there will be this new start, and where you like to have that steady energy, where you're grounded and sensual and you like to take time over things. So you like to build things to last and take pleasure in the journey. So here we go. If you are Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising on Saturday the 16th of May or Sunday the 17th of May, there is a brand new moon in your sign, Taurus. This happens once a year that you get this reset with the new moon, the sun and the moon coming together in your sign. And it is a lovely start because it's the first new moon where you don't have Uranus in your sign, because you've had Uranus moving through your sign for the last 7 years, bringing you disruption, instability, big changes that were shocking sometimes. And Taurus, you don't love that. You like things to be steady and stable and grounded and earthy. Uranus is very close, actually. It's only 5 or 6 degrees away from the new moon, so it's still having an influence, but really things are moving on, and you will be able to be setting up your life in a more steady and secure way in the future. And these days, you also might be going on quite a spiritual journey, a kind of quiet journey, because you've had all that Aries energy, and that's in your 12th house of where you're withdrawn from the world. And at the moment, with the new moon, you've also got Venus in your second house. So that is making you focus on your finances and your income and your sense of self-worth, and think about your priorities and what you value in the world. Venus will soon be moving into Gemini, but into actually Cancer. So then you'll be thinking more about your neighborhoods and friends and connections around the local community and your relations and siblings and businesses and all that. But with this new moon, you've got this chance for a reset, to take those quiet moments and those couple of days. Try and have some quiet time, and where you can even be sitting on the earth or walking on the earth. Walking might work better for you, or sitting in stillness and thinking about, what do you want, what do you love, what would you like to develop for the next month, for the next 18 months, for the next 6 months, and going on into the future. What is there in life for you that you can build towards steadily in any part of your life? When you have something happening big like this, like a new moon in your first house, and when I say big, it is something that happens every year, so it's not as massive as that big 7-year transit that you had with Uranus going through recently. That's finished now. But thinking about what you want for any part of life, because the first house affects every part of life: your relationships, your career, your work, your neighborhoods, your home, your family, everything. So, Taurus, I encourage you to think about all these things, to get connected with your senses and see what bubbles up from within with some time out, and then go forth and break new ground in a nice, slow, and steady way as you start to work towards some of these intentions. So, all the best for that, Taurus, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Gemini Rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, you have a new moon in your 12th house. This is Taurus. It's a house that's kind of hidden from the world. It's a house of things that you don't quite see sometimes. It can be a house of places of retreat, or places that are out of the way from normal life, like care homes or retreats, resorts, hospitals. It could even be prisons, or it could be that you're doing things with this new moon, because this new moon is taking you away from your normal life in some ways. There's some escapism or withdrawal. It might be that you're doing more working from home, or you're not working as much. You're finding that actually there's no work at the moment, and you just completely dive into that and kind of just have some time out, time away from the hubbub. And at the same time, you've got Venus, the ruler of this moon, going through your first house. And that is the ruler, Venus is the ruler of your 12th house. So that is again encouraging you to withdraw. And your ruler, Gemini, is Mercury, and Mercury is in your 12th house, Taurus, at the time of the new moon. So there's a lot there that's encouraging you to have a little bit of time out. Having said that, Venus in your own house, going through over the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 3 or 4 weeks, is making you quite flirtatious and maybe noticed by people who are ready to flirt with you. So that is a little added bonus, but it might be in quiet, out of the way places that this flirtation goes on. It might not just be flirting, it might be just nice, light-hearted chat where you're really connecting with somebody. Still might be light-hearted, even if it is really connecting, but there's a lot of one-to-one connection potential with that. And you, Gemini, have recently had Uranus, the planet of disruption, awakening, innovation, and progressive thinking, is now in your sign, and it went in there just about, oh yeah, at the end of April, not long ago at all. It's going to be there for 7 years. So you are going to be so shaken up over the next 7 years, and you might not recognize your life by the end of that. But Gemini, you're so adaptable. You've got such ability to learn, and you're probably going to embrace all of these changes and the enjoy all the new things coming along and the new ideas, and wrap yourself around them with your quick-witted brain. So what else do I want to say about you? You've also had, over the last month or so, all those planets in Aries, which is your 11th house, your house of your long-term goals, the house of your friendship groups and organizations that you belong to, and the house of rewards from work. And so there's been some new starts in there and some conflict or challenge or stress in that area, and that's going to just dissipate a little bit. There's still a lot of energy in that 11th house of your long-term goals and your organizations and groups of people. And there's going to be, because Saturn and Neptune are going to remain there, but some of the real intensity of that is going to come back now. But mostly this is about that new moon in your 12th house, where you're going to be having some time out. I had a new moon and lots of planets in my 12th house. I think it was back in January, and I ended up not getting a lot of work that month. And then my partner went away and my kids were away, and I didn't even go out. I hardly went out. I went out once a week, or otherwise you've got to talk to some people sometimes. And I just got into music, and I was listening to stuff that I'd never listened to before, and just I got into a real dreamy, floaty state, and that can be the 12th house. That can be really neat. It could be also a chance for you to address some addictions or patterns of behavior that are not helping you. And it could also be a chance to connect with faraway places, overseas places, because those are out of the way and separate from your normal life. So let's see what happens. All the best, Gemini, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, on Saturday the 16th of May or Sunday the 17th of May, there is a new moon in the sign of Taurus at 26 degrees of Taurus. This is your 11th house of your goals, your long-term goals for your life, and where you're heading in a slow but steady way, because Taurus is slow but steady. The 11th house is also about friendship groups and organizations that you belong to. And in any of these, also rewards from your career. And any of these, you want things to build slowly and to build to last. You don't want to take shortcuts or rush things, and you want to savor and take pleasure in the journey, Cancer, because you have got Taurus in that 11th house. You want things to be slowly and steadily growing for the future. Okay, so a brand new start in any of those areas, some new beginning or some new step on a journey towards a long-term goal, or maybe an adjustment of a long-term goal. Some new beginning in a friendship group, maybe you join a new club. And maybe some new beginning with the rewards from your work, like whether that is financial rewards or some kind of other perk or promotion or something with your work. Okay. Cancer, you have got Jupiter in your house, your own sign, and Jupiter's been there since about the end of June last year, and it's going to be there until June this year. You've got all these blessings to enjoy, especially now Jupiter's direct. So make the most of that. Notice how Many opportunities for expansion are coming into your life because of Jupiter being there. And that can include, you can put on some weight with Jupiter, but you can really expand your horizons of what you could even think is possible for your life. And with this new moon in the sign of your goals and your long-term goals, maybe some of these expansive the new expansive attitude and these opportunities that have been coming in with Jupiter might help you adjust some of your long-term goals. So that's pretty neat. You've also had in the last month a lot of intensity in your career house with all that Aries energy, and there could have been conflict and stress, but perhaps also some, you're stepping towards new beginnings in your career house, or you've already started the new beginnings, or they're just starting to unfold, because some of these can be very big long-term new beginnings. So some of the intensity is going to go out of that career and your work, and or anything that you do that where you've got a public reputation, or you're known for this work. So that will make things a little bit easier. But mostly, Cancer, this is about a brand new start in that house of your friendship groups, your long-term goals, and the rewards from your work. And I wish you all the best for it. So please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, there is a new moon in the sign of Taurus at 26 degrees of Taurus. This is your 10th house of your career, Leo. So your work, the work that you do where it's actually a career, it's for the long term. Maybe one day you'll leave a legacy behind for the world. You've improved something in the long term for the world. And it can also be, if you're not doing paid work, some work that you're doing that you're known for, that you have a public reputation in this work. Okay, so there's a new start happening here. You like to take your time with your career, Leo, and build things slowly for the future and take pleasure in the journey. And your natural thing too, Leo, you've got this natural performance tendency. You shine, you're charismatic. People are kind of attracted to you, and they might want to buzz around you and admire you. And you need that admiration. You do need admiration, and you've got a lot of generosity with it as well. So at the time of the new moon, the sun is part of that, because the sun is with the moon, and Leo, you are ruled by the sun. So some of that shiny charisma is coming out and shining up your career house at the time of the new moon and all through that Taurus season. So there is a spotlight there on your career. There's also been a lot of action and intensity in your ninth house of your travel, your belief systems, your philosophy of life. And that's because of all that Aries energy that we've had when we had 6 planets plus Chiron in the sign of Aries. There's still going to be intensity there, and stressiness, and amazing new beginnings with any of those things. Or it could be actually your belief systems, like your religion even. But some of that intensity is dissipating now, so that's easier, especially once Mars moves into Taurus as well. But mostly, Leo, this is about that new moon in your career house and a new start there, something that can build slowly and steadily, maybe with some disruptive, innovative ideas coming in with the Uranus influence. So I wish you all the best for it, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, there's a new moon in the sign of Taurus on the 16th or 17th of May at 26 degrees. And this is a lovely place to be having a new moon, Virgo. This is your 9th house of your travel plans or connections with people from distant cultures and lands, foreign lands. And it's also a house of belief systems and philosophy of life. It can be a house of higher learning too, higher education, and it's a house where we seek meaning in life and we want to understand how things work. And So that's why we can get into philosophy and spirituality, because it's where we're seeking that meaning and that higher purpose of life. It's also known as a lucky house, a house of expansion, a house of ethics as well. So that new moon in Taurus is bringing about a new beginning in that house. And, we have a new moon in Taurus every year, so there always is a new beginning. And because you have Taurus occupying your ninth house, Virgo, you like these kinds of things to do with travel and higher learning and your philosophy of life, your belief systems. You like things to develop slowly and steadily, and you like to take pleasure in that journey. And you understand the earthiness that can be connected to these very high minded principles. You understand that they need to be earthy and grounded, because Virgo, you are also a wonderful earth sign that's very much grounded and connected to Gaia, or connected to the earth. So that's really neat. What else is going on? Uranus has just moved into Gemini, and that is your 10th house. So there's going to be such a lot of disruption to your career over the next 7 years, and that could be a little bit activated by this new moon as well. And you've got Jupiter in your 11th house of your career gains and your groups of people, and that will be there until the end of June, bringing blessings and good luck and also long term goals. Helping you think expansively about where you want to head with the rewards from your career, with your networks and friendship groups, and with your goals. So think big while Jupiter is there, Virgo. And mostly, though, oh, yes, also there's been this intensity in your eighth house, which is about shared resources with others or large amounts of money, that taxes, inheritances, things like that, large amounts of money that you might have connections with but maybe can't access readily. That can also be about intimacy, and it can also be about your underlying psychological layers. Lots of intensity there and stress lately over the last month. That is not going to go away completely, but it is going to dissipate in the coming month or so. So that will be a bit easier. So mostly, though, this is about that new moon in the sign of Taurus and that new beginning in the house of your travel, your connections with people from other cultures, your philosophy, your beliefs about life, which are very earthy, I'm sure, and also higher learning or higher education. So all the best for that. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Libra Rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, there's a new moon in Taurus at 26 degrees, and that is coming into and representing a new beginning in your 8th house, Libra. The 8th house is about your partner's resources or resources that you share with others, and that includes finances and money. It can also be about large amounts of money that you have connection to, or they might be in your name, but you don't have really access to them, like retirement funds or inheritances or investments. Okay, so some new beginning there. The 8th house can also be about very deep, close intimacy with a partner, that like getting to the real underneath, and that includes looking at how you share power, but also how you are in very deeply intimate times. And the 8th house can also be about your deep psychological layers. So there is some new beginning happening in any, or perhaps even all of those. There is a new moon in the sign of Taurus every year, but they're always a little bit different. So this one's got the influence of Uranus there. So there's some disruption or something, a new innovative idea coming from your house of travel plans or travel or connections with foreign cultures, or even something to do with your higher learning. Maybe you learn something through a university course or through some philosophy podcast that changes your view about your investments, and it makes you want to change. Perhaps you find something about a company, an overseas company that you've invested in, and you decide that's not ethical, that's not good, I'm going to change it because you've discovered something underneath that goes with the 8th house. It could be unexpected travel for you, Libra, over the next 7 years because you've got Uranus going through your 9th house of travel, or unexpected meetings with people from far off countries that could happen. And you've also had, over the last month, there's also been a lot of intensity and conflict in your partnership. And perhaps some amazing new beginnings in partnership, but they'll be unfolding slowly. And some of the intensity and conflict or stress that might have been happening with partners, that might ease over the next few weeks as most of the planets move out of the sign of Aries. There's still stuff going to be going on with your partnership, and this includes business partnerships or life partnerships, intimate partners, but it also includes anyone that you work with on a one-to-one basis. That's going to ease a bit, and this new moon in Taurus is just going to help break up some of that energy that's been going on with your partner or for your partner. So use some of that Taurian peace. You're ruled by Venus as well, to send up the peaceful vibes in your partnership. That will help with it. But mostly, Libra, this is about some kind of new start for your shared resources or finances that you share with others, and also an understanding of deep intimacy, or an understanding of your deep underlying psychological layers, especially where they're to do with power. So I wish you all the best for that, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, the new moon in the sign of Taurus is happening at 26 degrees on the 16th or 17th of May, and this is in your 7th house of partnership, Scorpio. So partnership can be about a business partner. It could be about anyone that you do a lot of things with on a one-to-one basis, even if that's a friend. But it also very often is about a life partner or a committed marriage type relationship, a long-term boyfriend or girlfriend. Or anyone that you're spending a lot of one-to-one time with. It can also be about client relationships, because that's a one-to-one. You're sitting across the table from each other. There's some kind of new beginning here for you with partnership or for your partner or your partners. Okay, and there is a new beginning in the sign of Taurus every year around about this time. This one has got some different influences, of course, because every year the outer planets are in different places. So this year, Uranus is not far from the new moon, and that's going to be bringing some disruption, perhaps, or some innovative thinking that might be hard to hear or hard to sort of integrate, but you've just got to respond to it as best you can and make decisions for the best. Scorpio, you've got a great deal of depth and stillness about you, and Taurus has that as well. There's the stillness with both of you, the steadiness, and so the disruptive nature of Uranus can be challenging for that. But if you just take things in slowly and as slowly as possible, and try and understand and wrap your head around the new ideas, or the new way of seeing things, that could be okay. All right, your ruler Mars is in the sign of Aries. It's just at the end of Aries. It's with Chiron, and so there could be some kind of wound coming up. Just work with that. Go into your underlying layers, Scorpio. You're very good at that, and try and understand what's going on in an underneath level. Give yourself forgiveness, allow grace, and move through it as best you can. This is the end of a really intense time in that 6th house where Mars is Aries at the moment. That's your 6th house, which can be a house of illness or ill health. All right, so there could have been tension and stress and problems coming up there, but also perhaps some amazing new beginnings. That can also be about your daily work, and it can also be about your daily routines, about your house, and your organization of life. But it can be about illness or ill health. So that intensity in that area is going to ease soon. So that will be good. All right, your modern ruler Pluto, that is in your fourth house. That's going to be really um, transforming your house of your home and your family, your ancestry, and properties that you own or dwell in over the next 20 years, actually. So that's a really long transit there with Pluto. But mostly this weekend, is about that new moon in the sign of Taurus, the house of your partnership. And there'll be some new beginning for your partner or for your partnership and how you relate together. And I wish you all the best for it. So please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, there is a new moon in Taurus at 26 degrees, encouraging you to build something that will last in your work life. Also in your home life, in terms of how you organize your home and your life admin and how you keep things clean and healthy and hygienic and running smoothly. So that is your sixth house, Sagittarius. Okay. So in that sixth house of your work and your daily routines and your practices for health and exercise, you like to do things slowly and steadily because Taurus is there, and Taurus likes things to be slow and steady and to take pleasure in the journey. There's a new moon in that sign, in that house, every year. This new moon comes with some disruption from Uranus, perhaps some new innovative ideas, perhaps you discover something about your work or your colleagues or your daily tasks that you do, or the way that you organize things. You realize something's just not working very well, and some new innovative ideas need to come in and be embraced and accepted. And that could be a little bit challenging, but you just got to go with it. You've also had over the last month or so, there's been all these planets in your fifth house where Aries is. That is your house of romance and dating and your children and your hobbies and your creative entrepreneurial pursuits and things that you love to do with playful joy. Okay, so there could have been some amazing new beginnings there, and these might be very long-term beginnings that unfold over years and years, but also a lot of stress and tension and possibly conflict, maybe conflict with your kids, conflict with romantic partners, disagreements about dates or on dates. Okay, some of that's going to dissipate. Like there's this crunchy bit with Mars conjunct Chiron, could be bringing up some abandonment fears, could be showing up some illness or injury. But after the new moon, a lot of that energy is going to just go away and things will be a little bit easier in that way. Okay, um, so with the new moon, you also have Venus in your sign of partnership. So that is quite nice. There's a bit of loving up happening with your partner or some nice connection time with a business partner or client. So mostly this is about the new moon in the sign of Taurus. So that's representing a new beginning, a brand new beginning in your house of your work, your daily life routines, and for health and hygiene and keeping your life in order. So all the best for that, Sagittarius, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, on Saturday, the 16th of May or the 17th of May, the Sunday, there is a new moon in the sign of Taurus at 26 degrees, and this is your fifth house, Capricorn. That is a lovely house to have a brand new beginning in, because the fifth house is your house of romance and play and fun and enjoying life and approaching life with heartfelt joy and this playful attitude. So do that, Capricorn. Make the most of that. Where you have this house of play and fun, you like things to be built to last, and you like to take pleasure in the journey. The fifth house, as well as being just about play and fun and hobbies, it's also about children, because your children are also products of your heart. and they are playful. And the fifth house is also about romance and dating and romantic partners, not so much committed partners, but romantic partners. So if you're in a dating world, there could be a new beginning there, or there could be a new beginning with one of your children or with your children in general. Okay, there could be a little bit of disruption comes along with the Uranus close to the new moon, and you'll just have to ride through that and manage and try and take on the innovative ideas that might be being presented. And also, I mentioned that you've had this last month or 6 weeks with such intensity, bringing stress and conflict in your home and family house. That is with all the lineup of planets in Aries. And there's a last bite from there with the Mars Chiron conjunction at the time of the new moon. So that could be bringing up some pain, some abandonment issues, some illness, even, or dysfunction in your family of origin or in your home. Even the home that you're currently in, but maybe the home you came from, you learn about it, something from the past, a childhood incident or something. This new moon is with the Venus sextile to that, we just need to face up to it and work through it and approach any feelings that come up or illness or injury with grace, with an attitude of healing. Okay, but mostly this is about a brand new start in your fifth house, a lovely, sweet house of playful fun and joy and hobbies and romance, dating, and children. So I wish you all the best for that, Capricorn, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, on Saturday the 16th of May or Sunday the 17th of May, there is a new moon at 26 degrees of Taurus, and that Aquarius is in your fourth house. The fourth house is your house of your home, your family, properties that you own, your original family, your family of origin, your ancestry. Or it could be just the people that you're living with now in the place where you live. So some new beginning in that area, and this could be a good time to set intentions for that aspect of life. And if there is a new beginning, then you will be wanting to build things to last and take pleasure in the journey, to build things in a slow and steady way. However, Aries, there is a little bit of disruption from the planet Uranus, which is close to the new moon. I think you'll be okay with that because you are ruled, your modern ruler is Uranus, so that's okay for you, Aquarius. You like to think out of the box, to think innovatively, to bring in the new disruptive ideas. So I think if that happens, you'll be comfortable with it and be able to roll with it. Okay. Now, the other thing that has been going on lately is that in your third house of your neighborhoods, your community, your commuting, your traveling around the neighborhood, your trade and exchange, your small business, there has been a lot of stress and conflict, even, and maybe some epic, grand new beginnings starting to unfold that will unfold over years, but lately also some intensity and stress and conflict, and that has been with that big lot of planets, 6 planets and more, in the sign of Aries, and that's that third house of your neighborhoods, also siblings and relations, and trade and exchange and all those things I mentioned before, hand skills like craft work, so many things for the third house. So that's going to have one last bite because there's Mars conjunct Chiron with this new moon, and so that could be bringing up something to do with a sense of abandonment. Maybe a neighbor moves away that you really valued having, that neighbor. Or there could be some illness or injury or some abandonment issues going on and something to do with your local community. That can also be schools as well and learning or local courses. All right. So you've just got to work through that Aquarius, and Venus is sextile to that conjunction, and it's in the sign of Gemini. So maybe talking to a therapist could help with that. All right. Or whatever it is, there'll be some way to respond to it. And after that, some of that conflict and stress in that house of your neighborhood is going to ease. Okay, it won't be quite as heavy as it has been. But mostly, Aquarius, this is about a brand new start in your fourth house for your home and family. So take some time out and think about what you wish for your home and your family and properties and your family of origin. What do you wish for? And then you can set some intentions and start working towards that when you see the new crescent moon in the sky. If you are Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Pisces rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, there's a new moon in the sign of Taurus at 26 degrees. And this is our third house, Pisces. I'm a Pisces as well. In our third house of our neighborhoods, our community, our local travel around the neighborhoods, and it's also trade and exchange and handcrafts and any of those. Oh, learning as well, local learning, local courses, local schools. We like to build things to last and to be steady and stable in any of those, and to take pleasure in the journey, and to take pleasure just in those connections that we have. Okay, and there's a chance for a brand new start in this area. And this could be something to do with a small business or a new neighbor or a new connection with a neighbor or a connection with a school or starting a new course or even starting a new regime or routine for practice around a hand skill or a craft. Okay, so that is really neat. What else has been going on? There could be some disruption with this, with Uranus, and it might be bringing in new ideas and innovative ways that we need to wrap our head around, and we might not be quite ready for it. One thing I've been thinking about, because doing my videos is kind of a third house thing, because it's writing and speaking, it's communicating with the world, and I might need to use AI to make my PowerPoints that I make, because I just make them myself on LibreOffice. It's a free software and it's clunky. It takes a long time. And if I could learn how to use AI to do my PowerPoints, it could save me a lot of time. I'll need to put the time into it. I'll be grumpy because I'm a little bit of a late adopter when it comes to technology, so I won't totally enjoy it, but it could save me a whole lot of time in the long term and be really beneficial. That would be an example of Uranus bringing a bit of disruption to my third house of writing and speaking and communicating and sharing with a community, and actually making things better in the long term. Okay. The other thing that's been happening lately, Pisces, is that we've had this big pile up of the planets in Aries in our second house of our money and our finances. And that might have meant some stress around finances, some conflict maybe around finances. And in my case, I think I've had to spend more lately. I've felt more stressed about money, and I have had more expenses going out lately. There's going to be a final bite with that, with Chiron and Mars meeting up exactly at the time of that new moon, and so that could be bringing out some kind of sense of lack, questions about our self-worth. Do we deserve money? And maybe feeling quite frustrated and upset with that. Okay. There possibly also illness or injury could come in there, but maybe a sense of lack, or actually a real lack of income or something could come up. All right, but after that, and after we work through whatever does come up, some of the intensity around our money and our finances is going to ease a bit, and we're starting on these new long-term things, like new ideas for making money and new ways of seeing making money, because of some big stuff happening in that second house with Saturn and Neptune. That will be unfolding over years, but some of that intensity and stress around it will ease once Mars goes out, and that's quite soon. But mostly, Pisces, this weekend is about that new moon in the sign of Taurus, bringing some opportunity for a new beginning, a new start in our in our third house, which is about so many things. I'll just list them again. local schools, local learning, local neighbourhood, local travel around your neighbourhood, handcrafts and hand skills, trade and exchange, writing, speaking, thinking, neighbours, siblings, and relations. I'm sure I forgot something, but all the best for it, Pisces, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Aries Rising, on Saturday the 16th or Sunday the 17th of May, depending on where you are in the world, there is a new moon in Taurus at 26 degrees of Taurus. The sign of Taurus, Aries, is your second house, and this is the house of your money, your finances, your income that you earn yourself, and your resources. It could even be like the things, your possessions that you own, okay? And when it comes to your resources and your finances, you like to build things to last and you like to take pleasure in the journey. Aries, you have had such intensity and such, I don't know, like you've had a hard time lately, I think. You've got your own ruler Mars going through your own sign, so that's pretty cool. That is making you energetic, entrepreneurial, feisty, and ready to go and get things and do things and take action, which you love. But then you've got Saturn and Neptune and Chiron, and it's been challenging, I think. I think you've had a lot of intensity and some conflict as well. And there's one last bite of that with the new moon because Chiron and Mars are conjunct at the time of the new moon. But after you work through that, and whatever these feelings of abandonment or illness or injury and fears around that might come up, work through that, and then things are going to be a little bit easier. Okay, some of that energy of conflict and stress will ease. Okay, um, what else can I say? With the new moon in the sign of Taurus, so you've got a new start with something to do with your finances and your income, okay, and your possessions. It might be that you decide to buy something, an important possession that's going to help you in some way or help you enjoy life in some way. Uranus is in the mix, and that could bring a tendency to bring some disruptive idea, but it could be quite innovative and actually quite helpful and help you see the bigger picture with things. So just watch out. If there's some kind of disruption like that, it actually could be beneficial, okay, but not necessarily easy to sort of integrate and get your mind wrapped around it. So that'll be all right. But mostly Aries, this is about this new moon in your second house, a new beginning, a blessed new beginning. You know, Taurus is just such a blessed house in terms of like sign, in terms of the abundance of the earth that it has with it, a very earthy sign. And it's time, Aries, with that for you to get a little bit slower and more grounded and steady and patient, Aries. That's hard for you, but it will be good for you as well to do some of that. So I wish you all the best for it, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. Well, there you go, everyone. That is all from me. And once again, I'm sorry this video is late, and hopefully I can get next week's video out at a better time. And I do hope you enjoy the new moon. Take some time to go for a walk and dream about what you would love to manifest in your life. This is a dream time. When it's the dark of the moon, it's a dream time. The time out, the quiet, go down deep within and see what bubbles up from within about what you would love to have. So try and get into that right brain state. That probably looks left for you, right? Try and get into the alpha brainwave state and dream about what you would love to manifest in your life. And then when you see that crescent moon in the sky, start taking a few little action steps towards it. So all the best, everyone, and bye for now.